little under the weather, and you know that his wife just talked to him, and so we're going to go on without him this morning. First of all, the State Barber Board is now called to order. Would you join with us in a prayer from Mr. Collins?
Let's pray in the name of Jesus God. We thank you for this board.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you for all your blessings. We pray that all we do today will be pleasing to you. Give us the knowledge and wisdom to carry on this morning. Let's stay be Lord, be recuperate. We ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Now we'll have a pledge allegiance to the flag. Let's play the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a roll call.
Donald Collins,
Lisa Jones, Larry High,
Rev. Pray.
So we do have enough for a meeting. The minutes of our last meeting, I'm sure we all have a chance to read it. And if so, we ask for motion to approve. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as been read. Second. Remove proper second that we accept the minutes as read. So ordered. Appearing before the board, Mr. Nicholas T. Jones, present. Okay, maybe he will come later. We'll go down to Jamal Stewart. Is he present? Looks like anybody won't show up. Okay, maybe they would probably show up a little later on in the meeting. And guess everybody's kind of running up behind this morning. Administrative report.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, the first item on your administrative report is going to be an application for change of ownership for a barber school. It's for National Barber and Styling Academy. You have an application that's been submitted for change of ownership. What this application is actually doing is adding an additional owner to the school. Yeah. Yeah.
Adding an additional owner.
Yeah, it's adding, yeah. Mr. Melvin J. Smith is the original owner, as listed when the application was placed. Now they're adding the director, Jonathan C., as also part of it.
So Jonathan is now going to become part of it.
Part of it, yes.
Make a motion to accept.
That's second.
It's been moved, proper second, that we accept the application for addition to the new ownership on it. Any question? All in favor? Saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed may have the same privilege. The ayes have it, motion is carried.
Okay, next you have an application for examination and that has felony convictions. All the required documentation has been submitted. The applicants are Keith DeWitt Burgess, Jared V. Mayfield, Dante Michon Bond, Ralph Bernard Russell, Michael Lee Jeffcoat, and Antonia McMurray, Travis Darnell Sweet, and Sean Graham. You can all check that the necessary information has been submitted, which would be the disclosure information from the applicant and the letter of examination recommendation from the Barber School attendants.
Everything is in order, all except they just have a calendar, right?
Correct.
Well, I guess we have to look at the same way that we always look at them, put them on 2-year probation. So I'd like to make a motion to put them on 2-year probation.
It's been moved. Did you make a motion? You made a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
It's been moved and properly second that we use our usual procedures, put them on probation, and hearing the motion and the second, are you ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by voting sign. Opposed, maybe at the same time. So ordered. They are approved, and we will go through the usual procedures on these.
Okay, next we have an application for reciprocity. This is an application for reciprocity of barber license from the state of New York for Furman Alfredo Marcus. The applicant's instruction in the barber curriculum was in an apprenticeship program. You have a letter submitted from the owner of Julio's Barbershop stating applicant engaged in barbering from 4/5 of 06 to 5/6 of 12 in the state of New York. Also, you have an experience statement required by the New York Department of Licensing, which is submitted. There's no confirmation of the hours. The gentleman, I spoke with him on the telephone because he had written 850 on his application, and I asked him how he arrived at that, and he said, I just kind of figured that's how many hours I had. Because apparently from the experience statement, he's been at that barbershop from 4/5 of 2006 to present, okay? And he actually received a license in the state of New York 7/18 of 2011. And Prince is quite well, I think. And you have the information that the shop owner submitted, and also you should have information from the web as to what is an apprentice barber in the state of New York.
You don't have no type of document on what school you attend?
He didn't attend, he's just an apprentice in the shop. No. Yeah, because it's there, it basically says in the state of New York, what qualification do I need for a certificate of registration as apprentice? If you're at least 17 years old and you're working under the supervision and direction of a licensed barber, you may apply for a certificate of registration as an apprentice. There's no school. Everything is done under the supervision of a licensed barber in the barbershop.
I think we've been through something like this before, and in these cases, don't have any schooling and out of state. Our laws and things are different. If he wants a license in the state of Tennessee, he's going to have to be qualified to know the rules and laws in the state of Tennessee. I doubt if he would even be able to pass it, even pass the test. I'm not sure. So we need to look at that closely and make close consideration of what we should do is best for him, because we hate for him to come to state board and even go to work in the state of Tennessee not knowing the rules and laws, and then if he did have to take the test, I don't believe he could even pass it. And it might be that he might need to take some first.
You don't have his license for less than a year.
Yes, according to certification from the New York State Board, his first license date was July the 18th, 2011.
Okay. Then it's automatic that he takes the test. All right, you would have to take the PSI test. I don't think he can pass it. But if you want to give him the test, we can give him the test and send him to school and fail.
I am concerned about I don't see anything concerning these sanitation issues.
Well, that's
I
our,
think that's
very not legal.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I don't see anything from the school, I don't see anything like the hours that's taken, I don't see anything like that. Now,
It says records have been destroyed. There's probably no records. I'm gonna make a motion we deny it.
I was second that. I second that.
It's been moved and proper second that we deny the application. Have questions? All in favor by using the sign of voting, by. Opposed, may use the same sign. No opposed. Unanimous that we deny this application.
Yeah, what we gonna do, the CD go to school, the CD take the test and see if he can pass it. What?
well, we know you can't pass it, so I like to recommend that, you need to go to school.
Because we need to have our legal department send him a letter.
You know,
That's
what I was just thinking, if he been an apprenticeship under a master ball, I think what he's basically missing is the theory instead of the practice. So my recommendation would be for him to attend school for 750 hours every year. You think that would be by him already work under his apprenticeship, he worked under a master ball. So I would say my recommendation would be for him to attend school for 750 hours, cut it in half, 715, 750 hours, that would be my recommendation.
I didn't take the test.
And then take the test.
The 700 would be the theory part.
Yeah, well,
On the theory.
if they didn't do burns and relaxers and curls and rolling and this sort of thing, he's gonna need some practical too. If you can already at 750 hours.
Okay.
And also, he can get financial aid.
Right.
Some financial aid for 750 hours.
Then what's the 750 hours? In order for him to pass the state board test anyway, he would have to do the rolling design. So the PSI would recognize it. Do we really understand it and know how to do it? So that would be my recommendation, 750 hours.
Okay, you recommend the same thing, Ralph?
Oh, yeah.
The,
Minimum, so.
okay. How about you?
Yeah.
I would think so too, in the 750 hours, he could not, let's not say this theory.
No, this is
Just 10 school, he could get part of whatever he needs for the state of Tennessee.
And 750 hours, he's gonna have to do some bookwork on his own anyway.
And that's gonna be up to him.
So that's gonna be on him, and then he's gonna have to do some practical, especially learn to roll perms and roll replacement and color and relaxers and everything.
And within the 750 hours, the instructor should recognize what his weakness is,
Right.
what he really needs to know, what he really needs to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, then we get him a letter concerning that, and I think what he needs to do is, where is he live, Memphis?
Worthy.
Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he could probably get it worked out on the school in Memphis. You got that in motion, Larry?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that he attend school for 750 hours,
Then make a statement.
then take the state board test.
The second, that.
Second.
It's been a motion, proper second that we, Mr. Morris, Mr. Morris takes 750 hours, and then 10 schools take 750 hours, and then take the test. Is right. Moved and second. Any questions? All in favor, let me know by voting sign. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Waller. You all take care of that, right? Thank you.
Next, you have the Barber Board meeting dates for 2013. We were asked to go ahead and get those prepared in advance and get them approved. The dates are basically identical to last year's dates. We did not meet in the month of January. We moved the meeting in February from the third Monday to the fourth Monday because of the state holiday on the third Monday. We meet on the third Monday in March, April, May, and June. There's no meeting in July. In August, we meet on the third Monday. If you notice, we were able to do the second floor conference room for all those. September, no meeting. October, November, and December, we meet second floor conference room. It's basically the very same meeting.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
It's been moved, probably second, that we accept the proposal. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, for your information, this was sent to the board office, a notification from someone that's written a book, and it's in reference to Money Matters, the haircutting game. It's basically inside information on whatever on how to operate a barber business, and they're requesting that I just submit to the board members for review. You have, this is just a brief outline. The book costs $4.
Is this book on the market already?
Yep, it's already out there.
Where can this book be purchased at? Just any bookstore?
Yeah, you should be able to get in the bookstore. You can actually, go online to whatever. But it's basically, I think, from reading what she has stated, it's giving information as to the simple business plan of, operating the shop, the many issues the business owner has to consider and attend to. It includes photos, section idea for opening your own place of business at a reasonable cost, real life example of situations you may encounter at reasonable cost, all kinds of things.
This should help barber industry because we need it. But I think that we find out where it is. Everybody should try to purchase this book. Yeah, we need to purchase it.
Well, we on other business. Miss Linda and I have a situation that we sent you a copy of, and we thought we might bring it before the board.
Okay.
Yeah. There, we fall under other business. I'm gonna ask Linda if she would.
Yeah, she didn't present it yet. Okay.
Well, I know it's just so you ain't got driver's license. We'll let you driver's seat.
Now you go ahead and tell them all about it, because I think I remember.
It's a young man who is signed up to go to our school. He's
32 years old.
He has given me a transcript from high school. His last date in high school was 1997. Then on May 25th, 2012, he got a regular diploma. And this is a proficiency test was passed. Our problem with this is special education. We don't have a problem with it. We don't want to work with them. We will. We retest it. We failed the pretest. He's very persistent, to say the least. And we have no very high calls. He has since, I believe, brought in his diploma. He's also working with vocational rehabilitation who have tested him and have told us that he is below average in reading and comprehension. We set him up again for another pretest, but in all ethical, I have a hard time accepting this. And like I told him, knowing what we know, I don't even know if this age level will accept this.
We're getting some pressure put on us by the Montgomery County School System. The lady called me the other day and she said, we tutored him for 2 years and he passed his completeness test. And I said, ma'am, I can't tutor in 2 days because we do not have tutors assigned to our students. Students have students along, But I don't have anybody qualified that can help this young man along. I mean, the highest score he made while he was in high school was on gym, and that was a 70. Most of his scores are 30s and 40s and 50s. Yeah, just some 20s. So he made a 41 on the first chapter in the book. We let him study it for 1 week. Every week.
No, actually, it was the shaving chapter.
Oh, shaving chapter, okay. We let him study a week before we give him the test. He made 41. So, guys, I mean, you know, I want students, I take students, but I don't take their money. So I don't want to.
And we've explained to them, you know, even if we did tutor them, you know, we go to the state board, we can't be their lawyer. And like I said, I think we got a problem with this.
I told the Montgomery County School System that he needs to read on 10th grade level to pass the state test. If he can't read 10th grade level, he can't pass the test.
My question is, right now, Mr. Wallace, is he qualified now to enter? Is he qualified? That's what we need to start. Is he qualified right now to enter?
Did you have proof of completion of 2 years of high school education?
Yeah,
You do. That he completed 10th grade.
right.
So that qualifies, right?
But he only has 5
Completed
credits.
or passed?
Completed and passed.
Completed. Yeah.
Completed.
Yeah, completed and
How
passed.
about that?
He only has 5 credits.
Now,
And 5 credits, yeah.
He's 10.
wait, do our requirements speak of a 10th grade education? I just said you so many credits. This said 10th
2
grade
years of high
education
school
or
education.
GED. Is that correct?
Now, 2 years of high, yeah, or GED.
10 credits.
I spoke to Ms. Waller and I spoke to one of the officials of PSI concerning the same matter. A young man that I know that he has a learning disability also. Now, what they will do, they will orally read his text to him. So there is a chance that he could actually pass it.
The reading is considered special accommodations,
Yeah.
and they have to submit documentation
Right.
from either a school or a medical field
Right, medical.
that verifies that there is
Correct. Learning
a
disability.
disability, okay?
Well, there'll be no problem getting here.
Well, and you know, it's one thing that I found out. Sometimes if you find out what a person is interested in, they can do that with it. I mean, they have a hope to really learn. Even though that he would have to pass this test in order to get his license, and he might. My suggestion is to let him enter school. Give him a chance. That's my suggestion.
If he don't pass this,
If he don't pass,
get your barber in there like that, right here, get him out.
he could be a itching barber right now. We don't know. I mean, but I said, I don't have to say give him a chance.
What somebody's saying was,
Yes.
okay, we're gonna listen to you.
The requirements that we have in school is that he has to pass with a 7 every single test. And even if it's orally or written, or the chances of him passing that test on all chapters of that test, he's made those scores.
Well, ours is 75.
Oh, yours is 75. And they're the minimum requirement according to the accreditation. Department of Education has a 70. In fact, if yours is 75, I agree with you. I think
I feel if you can do that,
you can make it get in there.
Yeah. If you make it 75 on your test in school, you can pass the state board with a 70.
Right.
We try to hold our up a little bit, and get our feet headed in the right direction. But
Okay,
I just don't want a lawsuit back on me. You know what I mean? I'm trying to stop that lawsuit thing, because disability folks will come down on our, and so, before I do anything, do take it in, don't pass, don't let me get poor. I don't want to be the go-to. You take them.
I have a question. What if he enrolls in your school and is not able to pass the test that you give in your school? What happens then? The test that they give on?
Well, you don't get the hours. If you don't pass, you don't get hours.
Okay. So after so many tests that he don't pass, what do you do?
Well, put them out. You know, I mean, if you don't pass
Yeah.
the first 3 or 4 tests,
Yeah, okay.
then you got to put them out.
Okay, that's
So
good.
the only thing we could possibly do,
Well, actually, you would have 3 months because it's
we can give him a 90-day progress report, and if he hasn't passed anything in 90 days, then we're just going to say, that's, you know, this ain't working, might be something different.
Because you're well aware you're not going to be able to provide the one-on-one tutoring, right?
Right.
Constantly.
And he's got to be well aware of that too. So that's the reason I told him, he's the board.
He's a Title IV recipient.
That's all way it goes to.
That's good for the community.
See, if I take any money,
That's right.
oh,
That's right.
so what I'll be doing is training 9 months for nothing.
Question.
And my place is a for-profit organization.
Are you all paying the top order?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, I think this would help him, with this top order. And I think,
Well, high school was taught order too.
yeah, I understand that, but just like I said, I think that people have a chance to develop in things that they're interested in. There's a chance that you never want to and this might could be his way of life, his overboard, coming out as far as what he really likes to do. He might be willing to go an extra mile. I don't know. But I think
Okay, there's no doubt in my mind that I can teach the boy how to cut hair.
Yeah.
That is not a problem. It's the books. I don't think he'll ever pass the state board.
This is the thing here now. That's the purpose of bringing school owners and instructors in on the Barber board to have some insight that normally Barber board members don't come in contact with students. That's why we value your opinion. We're proud that you all brought this forth and you all have the problem. And have another school owner here shed some light on it too. When you're working with these students like this, I know the pressure is on you. And another thing, the Board of Education don't have any control over the Barber system.
That's true. The Board of Education doesn't have any
They
control.
can't force them in.
They can put pressure on me.
Yeah.
In my
Right.
home county.
So this way, we have to find a way of taking care of the situation without you getting in trouble.
Does he not
Now,
hear?
if it has to come to him being enrolled and flunk out, the state's not going to continue to keep paying for his tuition or whatever, and he's not making it. So that's enough. If you have to take that route, then enrolling. But first of all, you don't want to bring somebody in and you see that they can't cut it to start with, but you got to protect yourself. So we got to make a decision here that's going to eliminate the problem with the public getting into it, the state getting into it, putting pressure on you, and saying that we know that you're not going to pass anybody through that's not going to make it, because we're looking for professional people in our field, and we want the best. We don't want anybody that's not going to make it. You're just wasting the time and wasting our time. We don't want that.
Well, this is kind of like when they agreed to let people come in and have second grade education. The legislators said, hey, you teach Barber to do anything. So if he's got 2 years of education, he's going to make Barber out of it. Well, that's not true, because they can't read the manufacturing directions on the back of the box like that. And that's the situation I'm in right now. This young man can't read the directions on the back of the color box. So what are we going to do? We put him in for 90 days. I can do that. I'm not going to get paid for it. Because if they don't pass, the state, the federal, nobody is going to pay any money for him. I'm not going to ever die over 90 days teaching one person. It's not going to make or break the company, but it doesn't sit well.
he might turn out to be a good barber, can cut hair. But like I said, being able to give the service and for sanitation and protect your business and your customers, you know, we just don't need anybody out there that can't do that. It's not going to make the barber feel broke.
Let me ask you a question. Has he met all of the qualifications to be enrolled in the school?
Well, he's got a diploma.
Okay. So my question is, has he met all of the qualifications to be enrolled in school? We don't.
He's in the work.
He's in the works. So
He hasn't passed the second test.
Okay, so here's my thing. Here's where I'm at. If he has met all of the qualifications to be enrolled in the Bible school, then I think to protect you in your school, it would be to your advantage to enroll him.
Oh, I agree.
And once he become enrolled, then you would do what you do to give him every opportunity to pass. In the event in 90 days he does not meet that point, but he to continue on, then you have no other recourse but to dismiss him. And that protects you. I mean, you've done what was required of you. This individual has met the qualifications to be enrolled in school, then you've done that. And I think the hound will leave you alone. If you've done what was required of you to enroll him, once he becomes enrolled and he does not meet even the least qualification or standard that needs to be, that all students are required to meet after 90 days, then you have no other recourse but to dismiss him.
And your opinion?
Well, it's not clear to me that he's met the qualifications to be enrolled. He hasn't been.
That's the question. Has he met the qualifications?
Well, we gave him a pre-entrance exam.
That's not part of the qualifications.
That's not part of the qualification. That's how the difference of our heart trying to see that he could read and understand the book, okay?
But I think that you should be firm about it. That he must meet the qualifications.
Transcript. Have you seen the transcript? Here we go.
But even so, after 90 days, we would know that whether he's progress is over. I mean, after 90 days. My recommendation would just give him a chance at 90 days, and we would actually know. And then, just like I said, if you have some kind of learning disability, PSI will give you, your test will not be like other tests.
They'll give you a little recorder.
So they give you a recorder.
And say right down in front of it.
Right.
Right.
So you'll have him with that. So I said just give him a chance, 3 months probation to see is he progress. Is he really learning?
I've had unfortunate experiences. Is there anyone's illegal rights that are the right? Is power of attorney?
He's 32 years old also.
I would be extraordinary.
Oh,
And that's
I have to deal with if they don't, you haven't done what they do, it's everything you do. I agree with this guy. Everybody should choose what God. I made mistakes many times in the second. But at the same time, the school would be very aware of what the cost of the practice.
Yeah, he don't think that this is going to get We had a girl who was making 97, 98, sue us for disabilities that she was ADHD, and we weren't functional with the tutor, note taker, and all this other stuff, and almost had to do it. Then they,
What are they trying to do here?
Does he need the qualifications?
I can't tell from that transcript. I would need more information to tell from that transcript,
Don't look so
whether he does or
good.
not.
see, that's what it does. Can't tell from the transcript whether it's,
It says regular diploma, and it says proficiency math. When you talk to the Board of Education, because when God does it, it's like, this doesn't look right. He's been out since 1997, and actually been incarcerated. And then he back and went in 2012 and had a test. So we called him and said, did he or did he not complete high school? And or the high school told him, said, well, he took the proficiency test and passed and graduated.
If they said that,
Because he went over there and took a math test, which is proficiency, I believe.
first, algebra 1.
Well, I mean, the law says he has that he has to have a 10th grade education or the equivalent. I don't know that taking a pass, I don't know what it means to take a passing proficiency exam. So I don't know whether that means he has a 10th grade education or the equivalent. That may be a question for the Board of Education. I don't know.
10th grade education, R. That's either R.
That's either or. You
That's
can-
either R. If you have
you
10th
can-
grade education, according to the legal documents, he got the legal documents.
I don't know that that shows a 10th grade education.
He scores at 35 is 10th grade education.
I can't tell from that document that he got a 10th grade education.
so we have to have more than 5 credits to be in 10th grade.
Don't have 10.
That's what I thought. I think I need to investigate it with the Board of Education and get more information there. Because, I mean, if you enter him and he's having it, well, then you break the law. So it'd be better to find out what you can from the Board of Education, so whether the university stands in terms of education.
Did you say he was incarcerated?
Yes.
Did he take the deficiency in the Department of Corrections or with the Board of Education?
Board of Education.
Okay.
If he took it, while he was in prison, would have been a problem.
Well, that record probably will follow him anyway, too, that, if he's incarcerated, we need to know what he's incarcerated for, if he's cleared, you know, and how serious it was. I know if he served his time, that's all over, but you still don't want anybody in your school that was going to be a threat to those students.
Oh, no.
You know, what he was in there for. He served his time and still come back out and do the same thing.
There'd have been there that was murderers and everything else.
I think, Ms. Connor, you come up with a good idea of checking with the Board of Education and see what they say, and if they put pressure and continue on, just go ahead and do 90 days. Just go ahead and enroll it.
If the board say that he has met the qualifications, then they did it. And then go from there.
90 days. You don't make it 90 days, you will see later.
He's got work as far as his financial, and he does seem really incarcerated, he can get financially, but he's kind of, somebody's guiding him.
That's what
They just talked to us that was the other night, that says
they're guiding him from the Department of Education.
that he can get financial aid because he's incarcerated.
Yeah, there's been a lot of problems with having to.
But see, he doesn't, and then they give him the high school diploma. Well, if they send that high school diploma to the board, because the Department of Ed, it has no markings on it. It's certified, just like he graduated high school. So, it qualifies him. But then he didn't sign up for service. That stopped him. And he'll soon be 36 years old, and if they don't get that squared away, then he's still not there. I don't know.
So do you all have a diploma in hand?
I don't yet, he says he has it, but I don't yet.
Yeah, we have verification on the board that he has.
It's books for education. And they've already there. I'm sure they have all the information you need.
And another thing, once you enroll him, if you enroll him, your school has got some laws, bylaws, and rules and everything. He's got to be governed by too. If he breaks any of those rules, violence or whatever, any way at all, you know,
He doesn't seem to be a violent
that's messing that right there. But if he's up and up, fine, you know, you can go along with him the best you can, and then if you don't meet the qualifications for testing, and then prove it all, you know.
Setting buddies, I like the that guy. He's been coming around there getting his haircut, but I guess ever since he got out of hand. And he's
They know how to do that too.
very likable individual.
Okay, I think we'll just put this on hold and let you all work it out with the Board of Education. Take the first step, checking with them, and then if you have to come back with us with it, we can make a decision on it then. I believe y'all can handle it from there.
He said, Mr. Ainsley already checked with Board of Education, and they said the training that he had in high school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he has high school.
So he's ready to be enrolled then.
See, what we did was we only talking about 3 months.
See, the problem is, this transcript that you have does not indicate. I mean, 5 credits does not tell you that he's in 10th grade. I mean, nowhere in the state you get 5 credits in 10th grade. So, there's a problem there. Right? And I think in order for you all to be protected, first of all, not to break the Barber laws, and then not be sued by another organization, you have to be clear. And you have to have the documentation to make sure that you're clear. And I think the only way you can get the documentation is from the Board of Education. If they say he has a law there produced, this shows that he has more than 5 credits. Unless they are changing their rules and regulations.
Well, he doesn't have more than 5 credits.
You know, unless the Board of Education has changed their rules that you can graduate with 5 credits, then it's fine if they change the rules. But I think y'all need to do some more talking with it. Right.
High school, when you call and discuss this young man, you don't even have to mention his name.
They already know.
They know who
They
he
know.
is. So, I mean, there's a lot going on with them, but we don't know. And we're just trying to guess what we say is able to finish to do what he needs to do.
Because I would love to see him in the school. I would love to see him there. I think what Hannah's right. I think if he's really interested in doing it, he will put forward his best. But you have to make sure that you all are on legal track here, so that you all be protected. So, as long as somebody that would have the information you need is for education. Because we look at transcripts showing 5 credits, that's certainly not enough to someone graduating high school. I wouldn't think so. I mean, I think I graduated, I had 22.
Okay, we're going over and over on the same thing. We're going to leave this up to between Mr. Raff and the Board of Education, and we're going to go, you all go from there. And then if you need some more assistance, you can come back. We'll probably linger on it a little while longer, but hopefully not. We're going to move on.
You want us to look over this?
We'll get into that. Hold on. I think Laura's going to just do that with you. Okay, one thing I do want to go over with the board, because I'm at the end of the report. Mr. Nicholas Jones, who you all had requested to appear before the board today, because this is the gentleman who had the security breach with PSI, where on his phone he had 98 pages of Barber textbook information when he was taking the exam. Okay, now I spoke with Mr. Jones, okay, and I explained that the board was basically just want to kind of consult with him, and he assured me that he was going to be here. Well, as you're aware, he's not here. Now, PSI is under the impression they will not let him reschedule a test or do anything until they hear from the board. So, do you all want to just pin this or hold this until the gentleman comes before the board, or do you want to, what do you want to do? Because he assured me he would be here today.
Well, he was supposed to be here today, and he's not here.
Correct.
That should, just eliminate him. Because we don't have time for somebody to just wait till they get ready to come. And, we just mark him off.
You mean, Martin, you said Martin, you want me to take the test?
We'll let him go on back, whatever procedures you have to go through to, paperwork and everything, start it all over, because he was supposed to be here today, and we haven't heard from him, at least to let us know.
Well, it's not so much the issue of the paperwork, it's just the fact that he had a breach of security. So PSI says until the board rules, he can't test. So I'm wondering, until you all speak with him or he does as you've requested, he cannot test, correct?
Let's put it on hold.
There you go.
I would like to do that because it could be, it could be ill, it
Yeah.
could be anything. I think that,
Let's,
but I think also that he realized that he has made a mistake.
Yes.
And I think if he try to feel that appearing for the board, we are going to grill him. And so I think he's probably reluctant to experience that. But I do think if he shows up, that will show me personally that he is concerned about the mistake he made, and he's looking for forgiveness. So I agree with you, Ralph. That's extended 30 more days.
30 days?
And if he shows up, then we will do
Okay.
because of your no-show, this has been extended until next month.
it. And that's showing that we're.
Yeah, let's try to get him on the agenda for our next board.
Yeah, okay, the board, next board meeting is in September. We don't meet now.
No, we don't meet in September.
No, October, I'm sorry.
October.
In October.
Right.
Okay.
Let's try to get him to meet, to appear before the board in October.
Okay,
They give him 2 months.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, make a motion to extend this for 60 days.
I second that.
It's been moving proper second that we extend this
October
60
4th.
days
Until the October board.
till October
60 days.
14th. Okay. All in favor, let me know by voting sign.
Aye.
Opposed, may use same sign. Motion carried. How about the Jamal Stewart? Did he show up? No. There's another no-show? Okay. Okay, we'll finish your report.
That's good, mine.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the staff attorney report.
Okay. As you might see, I'm not your regular staff attorney. She is off enjoying her honeymoon right now. I'm taking her place. She got married on Saturday. Excuse me. So, having said that, I am not as familiar with the documents that are before you on her behalf, so bear with me. I was thinking we might first go over the proposed rules. You should each have a set of, starts with chapter 0200-1, rules of Barber board amendments. Does everybody have that?
Yes.
Okay. These are, as I understand it, amendments either that you all may have discussed or that after reviewing the rules, Ms. Powers thought may be necessary. The amendments are in highlights, and I'm just going to go through each one and you can discuss your thoughts on it. And then if you all have any other amendments that you're interested in, let me know.
Ask you a question.
Sure.
On A, the minimum 2 restroom facilities,
Okay.
should there not be one handicap?
You're talking about number 1A?
Yes.
Okay. Should there not be one handicap? We can add that if you'd like to.
No, well, that would be 2 restaurants, 1 regular, 1 handicap.
I would think so, yeah. You can make a handicap restroom male or female. Okay, not a problem,
So that even if it's handicapped, it would be for both handicaps.
What could we just say that they make the restroom handicap accessible?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, we can
you
do
can
that.
have a restroom and then you can do things in it to make it handicap accessible.
Just like you said, just add
Rather
other
than
handicap.
creating it.
yeah, most counties,
Right,
that's a requirement anyway.
right.
I know in older buildings,
right.
lot of them are not.
They're not, they can go in there and make it handicap accessible. Okay.
So you're saying, just to make sure I'm clear, that it says, it's rather than saying a minimum of 2 restroom facilities, it should say a minimum of 2 restroom facilities, which,
Handicap accessible.
Handicap accessible.
yeah, which are handicap accessible.
Nobody.
No, that's quite all right. You can interrupt me as much as you want, that's fine. Okay, if you want to go on down to the second page. This is under the requirements of the school for enrollment of students are, and we've added subsection D, which says, every applicant for a Barber School Certificate of Registration must have at least 15 students, either part-time or full-time, pre-enrolled at the school before being granted a Barber School Certificate of Registration. The applicant shall submit to the board copies of the student enrollment agreements along with the application for a Barber School Certificate of Registration. They also add subsection E. Students enrolled full-time in a barber school or college must attend school for a minimum of 25 hours per week. Part-time students must attend a minimum of 20 hours per week. Any comment on those?
Sounds good.
Okay. Then if we go down to 0200-1-.06, which talks about expiration of certificates of registration, she's amended subsection 1 so that it will read in full. All certificates of registration, for master barbers and barber instructors shall expire on the anniversary date of the original date of licensure. And then she adds, before an instructor's license expires, an instructor may notify the board of the instructor's intention to place the license on inactive status. The notice of intention shall be accompanied by the regular license fee, but the instructor shall be relieved of the obligation to attend the otherwise required board-approved training program. An instructor may stay on inactive status as long as the appropriate fees are paid on a regular basis. To change a license from inactive status to active status, the instructor shall attend a board-approved instructor training program for a minimum of 24 hours.
Board members, this is something that the barber instructors have requested repeatedly over the years because the cosmetologists are able to do that. And if someone is not teaching or not instructing, they really feel it's a little bit of a request to require them to complete the continuing education hours. So that's what a lot of instructors will really appreciate this.
I think it's good.
Then if you go down to number 3 in that same section, she changed it. It says all certificates of registration for technicians shall expire annually on the licensee's date of birth. I think before it said biannually, but that annually is actually what the statute says. So it makes it comply with the statute. Then we have a small change down in 0200-1-.07, equipment and location requirements for barbershops. If you go down to subsection D, under every barbershop shall be equipped with at least, it says 1 dry sterilizer or sanitary compartment, and it deletes the language with fumigants per station. Now, if we go over to the section on page 4 of civil penalties, 0200-1-.18. This is the section on civil penalties. It's been essentially rewritten to read, the Tennessee State Board of Barber Examiners may, in a lawful proceeding with respect to any individual or entity licensed or required to be licensed, or who is otherwise subject to regulation by the State Board of Barber Examiners, in addition to or in lieu of any other lawful disciplinary action, assess a civil penalty for each separate violation of a statute, rule, or order enforceable by the board pertaining to such individual or entity. For purposes of the assessment of civil penalties pursuant to this rule, each separate act shall constitute a separate violation, and each day of continued violation shall constitute a separate violation. Subsection 2, schedule and amount of civil penalty. The amount of any civil penalty assessed shall be a minimum of $0 and shall not exceed $1,000 for each act of violation. What this does is the prior language limited what violations, on what violations you could assess a civil penalty. This allows you to assess a civil penalty for basically any breach of the Barber law. And that's really what the amendments of both sections do. It just broadens the authority a little bit, but it's in keeping with the statutory authority. Okay. Going down to some new rules. She's adding 3 new rules. First one is Rule 0200-01.19, time period for completion of coursework. It just has one paragraph. A student shall have 7 years from the date the student originally enrolls in a school to complete the required courses and number of hours required when the student originally enrolls. If the student fails to complete the course of instruction within that time period, the board may require the student to complete additional courses or attain additional hours prior to issuing a license to the person. She also adds 0200-01-.20, communication with the board. Subsection 1, renewals. All license renewals shall include the applicant's current address, phone number, and if available, email address. Subsection 2, mailing address. All licensees shall notify the board in writing within 30 days of any change in mailing address. Subsection 3, responses to board requests. All licensees shall respond in writing to any communication from the board requesting a response within the time prescribed by the board pursuant to the request.
Are there any consequences for not acting on any of the rules?
Well, that would be a violation of a rule if they fail to respond. And so then you would go back to the civil penalty section and you could assess a civil penalty for that in a formal hearing or by consent order. You could offer to settle with the civil penalty. Then she adds subsection 3, which is proposed to be Rule 0200-01-.21, expedited licensing for military spouses. Any person who is certified or licensed to perform barber services in a state other than Tennessee upon application by reciprocity shall be issued a license to practice or teach in Tennessee if A, such person's certifications and or licensure in such other state are substantially equivalent to the requirements for licensure in Tennessee, and B, such person's spouse is a member of the armed forces of the United States and is the subject of a military transfer to this state. Subsection C, such person left employment to accompany their spouses to this state, and subsection D, such person provides satisfactory evidence of legal marriage and of such person's spouse's transfer orders. Subsection 2. If such person provides satisfactory evidence of the requirements above, except item A, the board shall issue such person a temporary permit to practice while such person works to satisfy the state's licensure requirements. And subsection 3. Any temporary permit issued by the board shall automatically expire 6 months from the date of the board's issuance of such temporary permit. On or before the expiration date, the person shall submit proof of completion of the additional licensing requirements in order to receive licensure in Tennessee. If such requirements have not been substantially met, then the individual must apply for a licensure under the regular licensing state laws and rules. And that is being implemented due to a change in statutes that require it. Then we move on to Rule 0200-3-.05, sanitation and disinfection. And we go down to subsection 7, which is being deleted. Subsection 7 read, the foot bath shall be cleaned and disinfected after each use. The filters and jets must be flushed, cleaned, and disinfected twice a week with the use of a hospital-grade tuberculocidal disinfectant or an equivalent solution circulated through the machine for a minimum time recommended by the manufacturer. So just deletes any reference to putbacks altogether. Then the last, that changes the numbering, in the other one, so that's why those are highlighted. Then if you go down to the last one, it's Rule 0200-3-.09, dry compartments, subsection 1, it takes out the verbiage containing fumigants. So it reads, every dry compartment must be equipped with either an ultraviolet ray device operational during work hours or a closed compartment and must be kept clean. So it took out the language containing fumigants. So I guess the first question is, do you have any comments on the proposed revisions or amendments? And I'm not going to ask for a vote on these today. I'm going to take them back and fix them up for you to approve next time.
Very good.
I'm looking at expedited licensing for military spouses, number 3. It resembles what you were talking about there about the apprentice license, because it's being issued a temporary license.
Right.
So that resembles that.
Yeah, in this case, it would just be a temporary license if they show that they're the spouse of the military.
It's like it's approved.
Right.
I think that's good.
Okay.
Were there any other amendments that you all were interested in at this time? I know you made a suggestion about the restroom facilities, and we'll add that in. Was there anything else that you all had on your minds to put in right now? Which, of course, you'll be able to make amendments later, too.
I think we have plenty of time to take them back with us and
Sure.
go back through them and study and see if there's any additions to be made. Everything looks very clear so far. Looks good. And the next meeting, if there's anything.
I think you covered pretty much everything.
Good.
So like there's no motion needed, so that's how they continue on one thing until the next meeting.
Next, I'm going to pass out to you. I think you've already got the proposed new grade sheet for the schools, but really, for point of reference, you may or may not want to look at these. I have the old one. I've got the old grade sheet, the one that's currently in effect. Underneath it is the cosmetology board's grade sheet. We looked at the doing this. And then the new one, which I think you've already got a copy of. Now, let's say that before Rachel left last week, she and I sat down and looked at this, and we did talk about the need to probably add some guidance for the inspectors regarding scoring on the new sheet, because there really isn't anything there, and I think that's always helpful. So perhaps something that either gives a weight to each 1, 2, 3, 4, or points or something. So we wanted to take a look at that before we get you all to approve the final version. But I thought since we already had this substantially done, it would be good for you to go ahead and look at it and give me any comments that you have at this time.
Okay, well, I'm very pleased with number 1.
Okay, good.
First of all, being an inspector for a short period of time, this is something that you can talk to the school owner about. And when you go in there and they've got 3 students in school and 15 on the roll, and they're all on the clock and none of them are available, it gives you leeway and try to find out where these people are. And you find that same thing twice, then you got a problem, serious problem. So this is the way we can keep up with that. Otherwise, they had no way of keeping up with it. So I'm very, very pleased with that. Also, part-time students at 20 hours a day, I think, 20 hours a week is good, and full-time, 25. That works real good. And it's up to schools to keep up with that, to pass it on to us for approval. So I'm very pleased with number one.
Number
As far as the
two,
school's concerned, and I think the school owners will be pleased with that. Because it gives them a chance to do something they're very interested in.
and number two, she did look through all the rules to make sure that everything that's required by the rules is in number two, so.
Right. Well, depending upon the score that you get from equipment and space requirements, would determine whether you get excellent, good, or needs improvement
Right,
under 4.
right.
I like it. It's there. I think it'll work. I think it'll work.
Okay. We'll come back, probably next time with some scoring in here, see.
Is there still a rule that all student permits have to be posted? They don't have anything like that, you know? I know they used to, they used to have permits that they, you know, everybody that was enrolled in school, they would have to be posted. So that's no longer.
Was there a major reason for getting rid of the permit?
They happened before I got here. I have no idea. They haven't had permission since I got here.
But is there anything to indicate that they are students? Is there what name tag, anything like that?
Now, that's nice.
No, is that what it is?
So it's a law.
What did you say?
Privacy Act.
It's the federal law. It's the Privacy Act. They can list the names of the students. Unless the students say it's okay, so they took that requirement out. So there was no reason to post it if it could possibly go against their private zone.
So how will we know if I walk into your school, how would I know that I'm being worked on by a student or a math problem?
You don't have any idea. The only way you're really supposed to know is the student is supposed to wear a name tag with a name.
Right, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
But,
Is that a requirement or that's just something?
well, that's a school requirement. Our school is supposed to, I don't think it's required by state. That they have a name tag and uniform.
According to the law.
Instructor, I think, is the only one that's law, right?
Exactly required.
Is it required
Yeah.
for students to have
Just for the instruction.
just the instruction, not the student?
There has to be some form of a uniform, for the students, whether it's a requirement for an actual name tag. The instructors are required to.
Is that under the federal law as well?
No, sir, that's
No, it's just,
Because my concern is if I walk to Bible school and how would I know I'm in school or master Bible? Because for master Bible, that might have been in school is a violation.
right.
So how would I know?
You don't.
Exactly. So,
And that's,
but if master Bible.
You probably know when you live.
But I mean, well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'm saying so, well, we won't get into that rut anyway. So that would be something that would fall on the board if we require students to have a name tag.
We do in the school. It would be a good idea. All students must have a name tag. What do you think?
I've seen that somewhere. Some kids are wearing that thing.
They're not.
Students, if somebody being worked on,
They wear uniforms.
Ours all wear uniforms too. Name tag.
In the Barber,
Yeah,
students are required to wear a uniform.
let's hear you. You might have something on that. That you got, school.
Yeah.
State certificate, they're required. Well, our students are required to do with practice. But it's not, nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a state thing, yeah, always, it's always a state.
So do the board have any, power to enforce something like that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to look at it, because you can't go outside of what's statutorily required. Like, we can look at it next week, next time.
If we require them to wear uniforms, we should require them to wear a name tag.
Let's look into that.
Yeah.
I would like to look into that and recognize.
We require them to wear a name tag and uniform.
That's exactly right.
And that'd be part of the.
I think
of
there's
this
no,
too.
you could certainly require them to wear a tag that says they were students.
Right, exactly, say that they're students.
Yeah, right.
If they don't want their name, just the initials and up on the student.
So we'll look at that and, maybe have another proposed rule regarding that.
I think some
Yeah, I think probably a very good move would take it'd be mandatory for them to wear a name tag. On all Barber schools and all college schools, it's gotta be posted, all work done by students. Who are the students? If you can't recognize them, work done by students.
And then you got some people come into a school and say, I'm used to getting my hair cut by Joe or Larry.
Right.
Like Larry cut my hair, they like to know what the name is.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, they always get requests.
Very good. Now, when we see this form again, they have grading on there.
Yeah, that's what, I'll ask you to go ahead and vote on
Thank you, John.
Good job.
Okay, I know it should be over by our next meeting then, right?
Or at least she'll be back next time, and we'll be able, she'll be back for work. The last thing I've got is the legal report, which I think you have a copy of.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that?
I got it.
Everybody's got it, we'll start off on that. Got it signed and packed.
No, I didn't get it.
Is that on your left right there, Larry? What's that? Count out.
Recommendation.
I don't think we got a copy of it.
It should be separate.
Yeah.
It's separate. It wasn't in my
Okay, got it? All right, we've got two matters that are being represented. First one is case number 2009-02209-1. In that case, the area inspector advised that the barber shop is now closed. So the recommendation is to close and flag the file. The next one is number 2011-002451. In this case, the above referenced shop is now under new ownership, so the recommendation also is to close and flag.
Is it owned by someone in the shop working there?
I don't believe so, but we can look back and see.
Yeah.
They usually
Put in your name for a while.
They usually try to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
All right. Going on to the regular report, number 3. Case number 2012-01722-1. A July 24, 2012 notice of violation alleges that the area inspector observed 2 barbers servicing clients while the shop license was expired. The area inspector also observed dirty, unswept floors. The board office records indicate that the shop license remains expired and no application to renew the shop license has been received as of the date of this report. The recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order with a payment of $500 civil penalty and a cease and desist advisory notice until the shop license is renewed. Number 4, 2012-01724-1. A July 27, 2012 notice of violation alleges that during an area inspection, the inspector observed very dirty floors, walls, ceilings, and restrooms, leaks at light fixtures, malfunctioning furniture, malfunctioning UV sanitizer and other equipment, inadequate lighting in the classrooms, and students without kits. I'm sorry, I should have said this is a school. The recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $500 civil penalty and a cease and desist advisory notice. Number 5, 2012-01667-1. A July 20th, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed an expired master barber license posted at the licensee's workstation and dirty clippers, but the master barber was not performing services during the inspection. Ward office records indicate the license in question has been renewed. Recommendation is to close with a letter of warning. Number 6, 2012-01661-1. A July 12, 2012 notice of violation does not provide sufficiently detailed information to determine whether a violation of barber law was observed during the inspection, so the recommendation is to close with no action. Number 7, 2012-01564-1. A June 29, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed 5 workstations were very dirty and only 3 licenses were posted. The area inspector also found 2 damaged barber chairs and very dirty floors and walls. The shop was previously cited in 2011 for an expired shop license and for sanitation violations relative to dirty shop conditions. The owner of the shop entered into a settlement by signing a consent order and paying a $500 civil penalty at that time. The recommendation here is to authorize formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $750 civil penalty. Number 8, 2012-01664-1. A July 18, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed the shop walls, floors, and workstations were very dirty during the inspection. The recommendation is to close with a letter of warning relative to sanitation. 2012-01565-1. A June 14, 2012 notice of violation alleges the area inspector observed no shop license or grade sheet displayed in the shop at the time of the inspection. No services were being provided during the inspection. The recommendation is to authorize a formal hearing with authority to settle by consent order and payment of a $250 civil penalty. And number 10, 2012-01635-1. A June 15, 2012 consumer complaint filed by an enrolled student at a licensed barber school alleges the complainant was promised to get her barber license back upon finishing the school courses. Further, the complainant states the principal of the barber school informed her it was the only school that enrolled students without Social Security numbers and that the state exam would be offered in Spanish. After 10 months of enrollment, she discovered her school hours are invalid because she does not have a Social Security number and that further, all the information she received was untrue. No answer to the complaint has been received from the respondent school as of the date of this report. The recommendation is to close with a letter of warning relative to failure to respond and request the area inspector to perform an inspection.
If you want to went a little further. Well, if he promised her a barber license, if she was the only school enrolling without Social Security numbers, I suggest to give her all the money back.
That's a civil matter. The board doesn't have the authority to make that happen.
So we can find him that much.
You can fine them up to $1,000 per violation. That's what the law says.
I think y'all do. I don't think there's a school on in here that would disagree with me that we should find him at least $1,000 for every order he.
I would agree.
I agree. Well, first of all, that's fraud. You're lying. You know? So I think he should be fined at least $1,000. That's maximum we can go. So I think he should be fined and still be fined $1,000.
Well, $1,000 per violation is what you're saying.
Oh, violation.
Okay.
Nobody a license, you can't enroll anybody without that.
Yeah. Okay, well, we don't have to respond to that. Any other changes?
Okay, are we clear on that?
I have a question with the first one. Obviously, we will agree with it. It says here, number 3,
Okay,
2012,
yes.
0172-1. If I'm understanding this right, the 2 barbers, have inspected there are 2 barbers serving clients.
Right.
One shop was expired, and floors were not swept. And as of today, the license has not been renewed.
That's correct.
And we have a consent order with another $500. But we have 2 in the shop working.
Right.
But we have a consent order $500.
Right, it's one violation of the shop. Right. Because their licenses, apparently, their individual licenses were current. Yeah. So I think that would, I'm assuming that specifically they would note that as well.
Okay.
They usually check that, so.
Okay.
But if you want to change the recommended civil penalty.
So just a shop license, that was
Okay, on number 6, I'm not too clear on this. You're
Okay.
probably not either. Violation does not provide sufficient detailed information to determine whether a violation of Barber law was observed during the inspection. Do you have any idea what?
Let me look at it and see.
Number 2.
Hang on just a second there. It says a lot. Let me see if it says anything that's a violation. Okay, apparently the inspector walked in and there was someone in there, but they said they were just there to clean the floors. They weren't servicing any clients.
So wasn't anything approved?
Yeah, that's the, just read further just a second. A lot of information about the people in the shop next door, but no. It seemed like there was some concern about the lady that was in the shop, but there weren't any customers there, and she said she was just there to clean. And I guess there was a suspicion that perhaps that wasn't altogether right.
More going on in the barber shop. Okay,
That seems to be about it.
so we can forget that.
And before you vote on it, number 2, the one that you asked me to check and see if the change of ownership was someone who was already in the shop, I'd like to go ahead and just take that one off of this report, and we will represent it at the next one once we have that information.
Which one we just getting on?
Number 2,
Number 2.
2011-00245.
Yeah.
We'll just take that one off of this report if that's okay, while I look into who the change of ownership went to.
Should be somebody working in the
Were there any other questions or comments?
Okay, with those, so you want to vote on, accept those with the necessary corrections?
I make a motion that we accept the case report with the necessary corrections.
And we will try to second that, we accept the report with necessary corrections. All in favor, let it be known by a vote of sign. Aye. Opposed, make the same sign. Motion carried. Okay. One will be represented. Okay. That take care of you.
That's it for me.
Okay, we just proceeded.
Okay.
Thank you.
What I did was I realized we were not meeting in the month of September, so I had the staff go through the mail to make sure there was not any reciprocity applications that need to be presented, so the individuals not have to wait. And you have two. The first one is going to be from Mr. Rodriguez, and I think he's applying for reciprocity of master barber license, and I'm assuming this is from Iran, and he sent a certificate showing he completed 2,000 hours of training. But you know what, I just looked at that when he's got master barber.
Well, you get the same thing with this Louisiana.
The Louisiana one states, and I found this very strange, that the person holds a cosmetology, which is license of the cosmetologist that tested to receive Louisiana barber license.
I make a motion to approve that.
Okay.
They make good cotton.
Now, they have 2,000 hours, right? If I'm not mistaken, did we not, if they have completed cosmetology school, they don't have to go 750 hours of barber college?
Right.
That's not correct?
Yeah, 22. Don't get on that.
Oh, I know. Yeah. If they hold a license with one of the boards, barber
Yeah, they only have
cosmetology,
to go.
750.
Like we require 1,500 hours, they don't have to go 750 hours. If they hold a valid license. Did we not discuss that one time?
That's the law.
That's the law?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our recommendation, you got to go to school for 750 hours.
Well,
I don't want it.
Well, it is for, no, Mr. Rodriguez, he's not even licensed as a cosmetologist in Tennessee yet.
Oh, he's not like a long time. Oh, I see.
He's not licensed as a
I'm thinking he's already licensed as a
What he needs to do is declare his cosmetologist.
Right.
And the cosmetologist,
And get a cosmetologist.
the same thing with Louisiana. He needs to declare his cosmetologist. This is a dual license state.
Yeah.
So they both need to declare that cosmetologist. And both of them will be licensed state.
Do we get a second on that?
So second, let me get clear here. Let me get clear first. The second one is also cosmetologist as well.
Now, April's interest, okay?
Yeah.
April's interest, it says on the certification from the Louisiana Board of Barber Examiners, okay? Basically, they're letting you know how she obtained her license as a barber in that state. She was a licensed cosmetologist in Louisiana that tested to receive her barber license. There's no hours of instruction, apparently. It's just that they allowed her to test to get her barber license in that state.
Okay. So we're requiring that, so the suggestion is, the recommendation is that they complete 700 hours.
Right.
Is the law.
If she changed her license in Tennessee,
Right.
still want to be a barber,
Right.
go to barber school for
Right.
750 hours, in any state-approved barber school,
But if she submitted an application for reciprocity to the cosmetology board,
she can be.
possibility still applies.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but she didn't do that before she run out.
Exactly. Okay. I agree with that.
Now, who was, you second?
I second.
You here for that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, it's been moved proper second that we deny both of these applications. Ready to vote? All in favor?
Should we send them a letter and?
Yeah, I do. We do. Anything that you vote or any decisions that you make, the applicants have sent letters advising.
Yeah, they do. Apply the cost.
Yes.
All in favor for denial?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Lord.
Mr. Chairman, I do have consent orders now. We lost them for a few minutes. Have the consent orders. Okay, the consent orders, for the August meeting. You have a cut above the rest, Memphis, Tennessee, $500. Barber College, Memphis, Tennessee, $500. Masters on Clarksville Highway in Nashville, Tennessee, $1,000. Platinum Clippers, Memphis, Tennessee, $3,000. Pyramid Barber School, Memphis, Tennessee, $500. And that hair place in Gallatin, Tennessee, $250, which makes your total consent order $5,750.
Have a motion to accept?
I can make a motion to accept the consent orders as well.
Been motion properly seconded, we accept the consent order. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
The barber school, the barber board doesn't get that money, right? Thank you.
We could use it, though.
We can use we can send it forward to the next one.
That's right.
Yeah.
We
Gotta get a representative for that.
Wait a minute.
We don't even have a representative for the national board.
And until our finances kind of improve. But our finances are getting better.
Okay, now we're down to other business. Anything about other business? Yes.
Sanitary requirements for the state, 0200-3.1 to retire barber school. All barber students and instructors shall maintain a high standard of personal hygiene and appearance. All students in the school of barbering must wear a uniform prescribed by the school. All instructors must wear responsible or shirt and tie. So there's no specific, other than saying that the student has to wear what the school said they have to wear. The only person required to wear anything would be the instructor. And the only recourse that the school has is that it has to post on the door that the services are all provided by students. Right? So as far as that, what we're talking about, there's nothing that requires a student to actually be recognized as equal with
The person working in it.
Yes.
But this being an amendment, we can always change that.
Right.
Okay, so we always make recommendations for that.
Okay.
State students are required to have a state ID. Yeah.
Okay. We had a seminar last week.
Yes.
I want to recognize, is anybody here that attended the national seminar? I'd like to see your hands. Okay, anybody care to make any comments on that? I know Larry.
Well, the national seminar, it was very interesting, and what I really liked about it is how they actually taught the instructors in schools on how to get the full attention and get the best out of their students. And it was a teacher-student relationship that motivated the students as far as make them want to actually learn. It was an interesting seminar. But I also attended a seminar in Knoxville a few weeks before that, and it was very interesting. But one of the things that I found out in most seminars that they geared mostly toward common time and very little barber. I had a barber instructor that came to me in Knoxville and said, this was a great seminar, but it's very little had to do with a barber. So, as a matter of fact, I'm supposed to go there in December, the 10th, and I'm supposed to do a class there on this year on barbering, which is good. I talked to Joe and Donald about it, and we was talking about doing a class up there together if we could possibly do it, because we realized that it's sort of like the barber field is dying. Colin Tiger have so much to offer than we did. And a lot of things that I learned from the Knoxville seminar is that one of the things, one of the instructors said that she was saying that techniques was not important. And then she went on to say she liked to get students that did have before, because bad habits are hard to break. In other words, she's contradicting herself, because technically they are very important. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to teach on and show more interest in the Bible field. The Bible is actually they feel like they're being left out. I'll be honest with you. I know there's only 5,000 Bible license Bibles in the state of Tennessee versus 60-some thousand cosmetologists. And that's another reason why something that I disagreed on at one time that I might be agreeing on now, and that's what Mr. Payne brought to the board as far as adding some hours and making it mandatory if a barber would like to take pedicure, because I feel like our field is losing, and I feel like most people are leaning towards cosmetology because barbers have just so less to offer versus what cosmetology have. So I might change my mind on that, but Payne, that I think that we might have to bring pedicure in just to help our field. But both seminars, they were very, very interesting. And I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to going next year, and I'm looking forward to actually teaching techniques and how barbershops are actually supposed to have be ran. And that's why I would like to see the board go back to the apprenticeship, because during the apprenticeship they will be taught how to run a shop. That's what's wrong, that I see what's wrong within our field today. They are not being taught. They can cut hair, but they do not know how to run a shop, and they do not know techniques. But I had a really wonderful seminar. We had a wonderful time.
What did you think of the seminar, Mr. Jones? And that's what would you think?
I think it was wonderful. I learned a lot about how to conduct business and get to your students and get the students' attention. And that was all right along with the barbers, as far as getting attention to students, like the college and honor barbers. But it was a nice seminar. Even though I'm a barber, there was lots of cosmetologists that I enjoyed being around. And then to see a lot of people that I knew, and being around some of them, and the instructor was real good. Everything was brought out real clear, and everybody had a chance to participate that really wanted to. I enjoyed it. And I noticed that one of the couple of the instructors out there, they was there, and I think they enjoyed it also. I got a chance to meet some of those.
One thing that is nice about naturals about teaching students, it doesn't matter if you're a barber or not.
Right.
It's about teaching other people that you're there to learn, you're there for.
Yeah.
That was good. So I think that Knoxville has a better grasp on what the individual needs more so than the student needs.
Right. All right.
Both of them are very good.
Right.
I like the naturals. Because it didn't matter what you were doing.
Right. Everybody was there, for the same thing, so to speak. Everybody got the same training, the same learning in one setting. It was all together. Still divided up. So it didn't follow the same pattern as Knoxville did. So, in other words, got something different here now. Yes.
a lot also on basketball and how and what I said now, I was going to the college because I decided to get my house out of life. I want to concentrate on other areas. I do basketball, but right now what we got is trying to get that's how I believe we get the wisdom of connection. We take a female and set them out with should come to the basketball. The big guy, you don't have to. She is that like what kind of things you want to do or how to if you want to do that, you want to which one you want to do. You know, we don't do current way or jumping as whole competition. But what is jumping, always trying to get me, these two deal together, all by themselves. You know, and I believe they have questions that they're doing that. Y'all can stuff like that in your
Yes, sir.
I have two questions. Kind of answer my second question about going in with interns. I feel like we do as a bar, we should go in to the barber shops, see how they feel how to run the shop, learn to talk to own the shop, see how they do their, do their thing. And my first question was, what is the real reason why thermal weight and thermal press in the bar for the PSI, find it in the bar?
I probably can answer that because that goes way back.
Yeah.
That goes back to 1965 when the Department of Education spent $250,000 training instructors throughout the United States, sending them into 30 major cities and teaching upgraded barber professionals. Okay? I happen to be the one that did it in Nashville. And we brought things into the barber industry at that time, such as curling irons and finger waves and this sort of thing that some of the shops were doing, but not all the shops. We also brought carpet into barber shops and telephones and light fixtures and better clippers and this sort of thing. So it's and music into the barber shop. Those things were not in the barber shops at that time. So that was the upgrade barber, and that's the reason that's in there. There's a lot of barbershops out there that are doing thermal pressing. There's a lot of barbershops that are doing relaxers, curls, color, and it puts a lot of money in your pocket. You can take a person who's doing styling and a person who's just cutting hair, and one's doing the styling will take the most money home at the end of the day. Now, if you were at the symposium, you heard me say, I think we ought to have 2,200 hours of training in school and have everybody do everything. Okay? If we could do that, then we could teach you barber, we could teach you cosmetology, all in one period of time. Then you can make up your own mind what you want to do when you get out. You should put it all together, yeah. Put it all together, because just like your instructor said, they're trying to put cosmetology into the barber school. Well, let's do it legally so that you won't be in liability to your, on yourself. Okay, right now, if you're doing pedicures in your shop or in your school and you hurt somebody, guess who's liable? You are. Because you're not licensed to do that. See, first of all, they should have used this as a shop owner because he allowed you to do that. So it's a legal thing. It's a liability. So we need to cover that. We need to cover you. We need to cover the shop owners. We need to cover ourselves as a board. And the way to do it is to put it all into the school, let the school teach it, put it back out to the public, and hide it all that. But you'll have all of them.
I think the biggest discussion that we had at the national level was when it comes to college, we all said
Yeah. Right. That got, I mean, that starts some stuff up. Like that. It plainly states in Barber law what acts constitute Barber. Okay? And it doesn't say anything in there in the cosmetology field either about them doing beards and shaving and all that sort of stuff. Also in Barber law, it doesn't say anything about pedicures and artificial nails and waxing. See, so there's a difference in the two fields, but we're all out there trying to make a dollar. At the end of the week, everybody's trying to take home enough money to support their family. And the way to do it is to put this thing together. They've been preaching this since 1965. This is the first time I've come this close with this many people that are interested in it enough to try to get behind the movement to do it. Do you agree or disagree? All old barbers.
But I'm just saying this honestly though, and I think Larry hit on it about the new license that we've been debating for years, for months. And I think that would really help out a lot when we add the new license under the umbrella of that.
Well, the new thing that we're looking at now is a new class in the barber schools where they can teach pedicure and manicure and artificial nails and this sort of thing. It'd be a 600-hour course, right? Handed to the barbers. And that's going to be a help for the barber school and for the barbers who want to do it. But you're going to have to come back and get the 600 hours. Right. Actually, we'll give you 150 hours if you have a barber license before you put in the program. So you can stay.
But it was refreshing to hear you say, young man, something that I have been talking to a lot of students in Memphis in schools, that to hear a young man such as yourself say that you would prefer to go into a shop and learn business before you're able to own a shop. That's critical in your growth and in your survival in this business. And that's one of the things that this board has been advocating for some time now about establishing the apprenticeship license that was established when I first came out of barber school. We had to work on the master barber for a year, and then at that time I had to come back to Nashville to take another exam. So I had to take an exam to get the apprenticeship license. Then I had to take another exam a year after that. Once the master barber signed off on those papers, then I was with him for a year in that shop. I had to come to Nashville and take that exam to get my master license. The way it is now, you finish school, you can take exams and pass, get your master license. Your master license entitles you to own salon, but you have no clue about how to do that. And so it does not, it's not beneficial to you. So it's refreshing to hear you say that. I'm happy to hear you say that.
And because there's no apprentice program, I recommend that every student who graduates from our school, our barber school, that they go work for somebody for 1 to 3 years before they even think about it.
Right.
In their own shop. Right.
Because you ask yourself, how many clients do you have to support your salon? That's what I'm saying. See, you can't go into a salon and require your, and I see it all the time. People open up salons and they'll bring in licensed barbers and cosmetists and would charge them $300 or $400 a week boot rent to help pay their bills. And what happens if the person they hire only got 3 or 4 of them? They certainly can't pay $300 a week boot rent. So now they gone, so you're stuck. And then what happens? You go out of business. Right? So all the upfront money you spent is gone. So give yourself a chance. Feel refreshing, you say.
The booth rent is nothing more than a way for the shop owner to get over on his employees. That's all it amounts to. He don't care nothing about you if he rents you a booth.
Well, not necessarily now.
All right. Hang on just a minute.
No.
Hang on, let me tell you.
Because in my salon, my operators pay booth rent. I certainly don't have them there to pay my bills. Because operators go and come all the time. Okay, I can't bring you in there and expect you to say, you're here to pay my utility bill and I got you here to pay my phone. You go come in there and get ready. If I bring you in my salon, I'm bringing you in there to give you an opportunity to be in your clientele, hoping one day you'll be able to step out on your own business. So I don't charge you, I don't charge my operators extra amount of money.
You're one of
But
the
the thing
men.
about, I know, and that's why my business is successful. Because when I opened that business, I was there by myself. I have the clientele to operate that business. If I bring somebody in there, it's not for them to help pay my bills, it's to help them. Because I'm interested in you all carrying on when I'm gone. I want this business, I want this industry to survive. I love this barbering, and I want it to survive, and it's going to survive by people like yourself who said, look, I want to learn it, and I want to learn it right. And so if you do it right, then you will help somebody else along the way.
You're one of me.
Young man here.
Oh, I know.
I've done it. Most people are just going out there, building a 12-chair shop
I know.
and sticking 12 people in it.
I know. Well,
How
how long
phone
how long
bill.
did it
They
last?
go and advertising.
How long does it last? I've been in business 30 years. My shop has been there 30 years.
I've been in business 42 years. One of my shops is on Blueprint, and the other one on
Basically, that was just, it was restraint on people who wanted to do certain things. People want to make it this time. But, I mean, just like you were saying earlier about special needs, you got things to really motivate you. There's also things to demotivate you. If you come to that here, you don't want to pick up a lot of hours. You motivate you. You're here to learn things about your field. So when you spend a whole day or going on other things like that, it motivates you. So I think if you want to do that, it's only it's going to go down to the first place. Go back to school for another 15 hours. Or 750, like you said. You don't have to mix everything in. I understand that I'm in all for learning new things, good things, and different things. Like I like to learn how to manage and stuff like that. But I don't have anything against it. But at the same time, it's just, if I wanted to go more extensive, I'm going back to school. I mean, I'm not doing that.
Thank you. Going back here.
I want to say something about the but I'm going to hear the Donald Press coming away. I just feel like it's not enough percentage of barbers that want to actually go to or permanent way. And as far as like the pedicures, we have nail technicians out there that actually get licensed to do those things. So once you come into a shop, you're going to have a nail technician, you're going to have a cosmetologist, you're going to have a barber. I don't see many barbers, picking up, feet or picking up curlers and curl hair. They're focused on in the barber field. So that's my problem. Like, I would say out of all of us, not one of us would go in and want to do curl away or even feet, we do the manicures, but they have nail technicians out there that actually get licensed to do those things. So where is the separation?
That's the reason we're putting the new program in the schools where they can teach the nail side of the program.
So they
All
can
classes they
choose.
don't. They don't do teach them barber, they just teach them pedicure, manicure, and artificial nails.
Okay.
Well, that's the way it is now.
It's going to be an option, right?
But that'll be good.
It's going to be option, like Barber,
2,200 hours, you get it all. Yeah.
Make it a whole separate Barber game kind of time for people that want to go for that.
Well, we're
Oh,
already.
that's the way it is now. The way he spoke, it's not a law right now. That's just what they're working on.
It's the same thing with the
Let's
people
leave it as y'all, person can y'all
or
opinion.
doctors. They go to medical school. They go through medical school, they get all of them, okay? Then they decide if they want to specialize. And that's basically what you said there. You like to go to school, get it all, but you want to specialize in one thing. Then you go back to school and specialize. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give it to them, all of it. And then give you also the chance to specialize yourself. you can't have cosmetology barber school and
Okay, we are working on all of those things. We sit here and we
They don't
discuss
make
over and over and over. None of it's in law. Some of the things about pedicure and all that. And we're gonna get to the bottom of it pretty soon. And we're looking out for the new barbers. This is Master Barber Board. This is Barber Board, not Calvin County Board. We're mostly discussing barbering. So we're looking at what's best for our field. And for the younger people that's coming on, we are sitting up here now, we're not going to be here very much longer. We're going to be out of the way, and younger people are going to be taking our places. So we want to prepare the younger people to be able to take our place and keep the barber field going on. That's what we're looking for. Did you have something, sir?
Mr. White from Cookville.
Did we have to put a time limit on you?
Mr. Lord here.
No, go ahead.
Mr. Lord here. Mr. Lord is JPC?
Yeah.
Well, last time I was here, I talked to him and he said he was
Yeah.
sick. This is the first part of it.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be okay?
Oh, yeah, I talked to him.
Yeah, she talked to me. He just wasn't able to make it
First
today.
of all, I
Yeah.
appreciate all y'all being here.
Yeah.
Taking the time to be here. From, Ms. Hazel all the way to Mr. Rapp. If I would stay just a barber 42 years ago, I wouldn't be here today. If I stayed just a barber, as you say, just a clipper and a haircut and a shave, I would not be here today. I would not have trained. I would not be in the school business for 33 years. I would not have trained hundreds and hundreds of students to be barbers. After the Knoxville meeting up there, I had tremendous people calling me, we can't do pedicure, we can't do this, we can't do that. After Knoxville, they called me, what's going on? We can't do this, we can't do that. We're making our living doing it. I said, ain't nothing been passed, ain't nothing been done. It's just been in the process of talking. And I had a terrible time convincing these people all coming, shooting up on me, trying to say, I can't do this. Are you kidding me? My students in school? Can we not do this? I said, nothing been said. We're just talking about it. The board and the barbers and the school owners just talking about this. Everybody I've talked to, and the majority of the people I've talked to, want to do what Mr. Rapp says. They want, 90% of people want to put $2,200 in it and combine it. And if you want to just do barbering, you do barbering. If you want to do manicures, you do manicures. You want to do pedicures, you do. Don't limit. Don't put no limitations on us. I mean, yeah, I'm not in a position right now. If they're coming to my school and they want to do pedicures, and they want to do manicures, and they want to do it all and everything, and I say, well, I can't do that, then they're going over to college school and going to school. And I'm going to be closing my doors. One of the oldest schools in probably the state of Tennessee, one of the oldest, graduated probably more than my graduation, and my pass rate is probably one of the top in the state of Tennessee. And I teach it all. I'm with Mr. Rapp. I say let's combine it all, get to 2,200 hours. I mean, I've been fighting the college for 42 years. If I had to do over again, I'd almost contemplate being a cosmetologist. But I'm just tired and sick of fighting. I mean, I'm in the sunset years of my life. Man, I'm tired of fighting these cosmetologists. They're coming out of the wall, coming out of high school. I tried to get the cosmetology school in Sparta High School. I tried to get the barber school in the high school. They said, no, we can't follow the norm. That's not the norm. The norm is to put cosmetologists in the high school. And me and the superintendent and everybody was working on it. Couldn't get it done. I'm tired of fighting cosmetologists. I'm running out of ammunition. You're taking the pedicures away from me. You're going to take the wax away from me. You're going to take this away from me. I'm just ready to give up and say, heck, I'm going to be a cosmetology school. Everybody just get out and I want to open up a cosmetology school. And one of the oldest barber schools in the state of Tennessee is when I close the doors.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wayne.
I hope y'all appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I'm very sincere.
We just had somebody just entered. Just adjourned? Okay, all right.
I know that's thing.
Okay.
You know, that's what I was told that, the radio station is the only thing that separates cosmetologists from, you know, being a barber, right?
More than that.
More than that.
More than that. That's just one.
Part of it.
So if we bring in the pedicure, I have a lot of cosmetologists friends, they want to put a razor on their face. I mean, would you let those people do that?
No. If you enter it all together, under $2,200, then you would have the same right as they do. For anything you want to do. But as it is today, under the law, and listen, under the law, in the state of Tennessee, it is divided. And we should have to follow the law as it is written. And that's where the argument is coming in. People don't want to follow the law, they want to cross over and do it without following the law. Well, as long as the law is written, we pretty much have to follow it. And just like I was talking a while ago, because you're not licensed, your license doesn't cover certain things. If you damage or injure a client, it's on your back. And legally, they can come down on you. They can sue you, they can give you damages. Draw your paycheck.
So, would it be, provided? Do you feel like it should be a barber/stylist license? Instead of...
No, it's already a barber slash stylist license. Yeah. Because barber stylists are all over the country. I've been a barber stylist since 1965. And everything. Barber, Cowboy Concept, Ralph Payne, everything else.
Okay, we're gonna hear one more here.
We're sorry about that.
I mean, I understand what Mr. Ralph is saying about that. If it's not legal and if it's not in our curriculum, which there's gray areas there, so in other words, we have been performing illegally for 35 or 40 years. So the students that are out licensed that are doing it, and that's what I mean, you're going to be open and learn that a lot of people, you know, and somebody brought up 1,500 hours. We don't always have a student that wants to do the 600 hours. They want the 1,500 hours, and they want it to be where they can go out and they can open a barber shop. They can get a traditional barber, like we have one called Veterans Barber Shop, with two great guys that went there to school. Whereas we might have somebody across town that's working. It's almost like the apprentice, the apprentice program. They're working in under someone's been in business for a long time, and they're learning how to manage business, or how to open it. Although we try to incorporate as much as possible in their curriculum. But I'm just like y'all. I want to keep, and I want to build, and I want our school to stay open. And I want to offer our students as much as I can. I don't want to take it away. And, you know, I don't know. I just know that we've had a lot of phone calls and a lot of different stuff like that going on. And I just want to do what's best. But bottom line, like Ryan, like, you know, like Wayne, like a lot of y'all said, you can pretty much get out and you can do what you want to. You know, if we want to add a 600-hour program, I feel like to do acrylic nails, then you do need to have extra practice. But we buy extra books and we do a lot of extra things at an accredited school to try to offer our students, you know, in other words, we teach them the difference between food rental and commission. You know, we have some students that go out and open their own salon, and they're a success story. They're employing 10 of our students right now, whereas we have others that they don't need to do that. They don't have the skills, they don't have the financial resources, they don't need to do that. So, I mean, there's no easy answer for any of us. I just want our profession to grow, just like the numbers, like Ms. Waller, what you say the numbers are, how many cosmetologists are in Mississippi?
64,000. About 64,000 cosmetologists.
And there's how many barbers?
I think about 5,700.
5,700. So, you know, I want us to grow, right?
Right, that's right.
That's what I want. I don't want us, you know, in other words, I don't want to put out a business sign on their door and say, okay, well, we took this away, and so therefore they don't really want to go over here, but they want to do that. Not saying that they have to, right? And we try to leave the curriculum, which, you know, we try to all work together through the years, and we all, like with the Barber, we try to all work together to add things, to try to change and grow, and with the, like you said, with the new updated Barber per se, so that, I just, you know, I want to put students out there that can compete, that can make a good living, and can do what they're happy doing and make money. And I won't talk alone.
Thank you. I just want to ask a question.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment. The thing that's hurting your Lincoln Law is a $1,000.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
Haven't been mentioned in the the thing that's hurting you the most is $1,000. That's what hurts all. Yeah. But all along, you've been dabbling in that same field, and it just kept you afloat. It didn't give you where you want. Shouldn't you have, if the $2,200 program would go in, you did that because then you would be in direct, and instead of being in direct competition, right? You could join equal growth, right? Amen.
Okay, we're going to have an adjournment here. And if you want to go down to the restaurant somewhere and continue that, you may.
Yeah.
I just want to, I'm going to be here highway. Yeah. First of all, this is my first meeting, and I don't want somebody to go out and tell the president that I try to keep y'all here all day because we had so much to talk about. But I just want to say that thank you all for cooperating and going along with me today on this meeting. And it was a good meeting. Good job. All you had done. Good job. Anything on your desk before we close? Okay. If not, we're ready for an adjournment.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second that we adjourn.
Quick question off the roll.
Okay.
How many people do make that?
I don't
That's the statute of Barbers, you know.
Hey, I make that.